morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another live broadcast of the Kev Baker Show, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, tfrlive.com. And I'm looking forward to today because I have the NanoGirl, not the NanoGirl, the NanoGirl riding shotgun with me. And it's the perfect addendum to yesterday's show with the brilliant Kevin. A big shout out to Kevin for coming in at short notice. I thought he would make a brilliant addition to the conversation because here's a man that had a vision years ago about Minnesota and in particular Minneapolis, where he decided he had to get out of because he's seen something coming in the future. We've all been talking about a new world order forever. And I still get shocked at the fact that here we are right now. And make no mistake about it, this isn't some beta test. This is go time. Or as the World Economic Forum, supported by Prince Charles, and all the other global elites out there are calling it, it's the time for the Great Reset. We're going to be talking about the Great Reset again today. We're going to be getting NanoGirl's perspective of what's going on. And we'll also be taking a look in the second half of the show at some of the cool technology, some of the stuff that Nano became renowned for during her time here regularly on the show. And am I so happy that the universe has kind of conspired now to arrange things where Nano can come on the show more often. You know, if that doesn't tell you that we're in dire times, nothing will. And I can't think of somebody better to be coming back into the show, Nano, especially at this time, because it feels now like all of the shows that I've done with you and so many other people that come and go on the show, it's almost as if that was boot camp for what we're in now, right? So the Great Reset, Nano, before we get there, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're well.
I'm doing great. Hello, everybody. So glad to be here again. It's only been 2 weeks, and what a difference 2 weeks makes. Just unbelievable. I'm still in lockdown over here in Monterey County, and I have no idea when it's going to end. None. I mean, we're on, June 9th? And Governor Newsom has said that he's going to start phase 3, which means some of the schools can open and maybe a church or two. I don't know. I actually just don't care. He's got 4 phases. Supposedly he's going to start this Friday. And you think to yourself, well, what's the difference? If I go out and protest in the middle of the street, I can be there anytime, day or night. I can do anything I want. I don't have to wear a mask. I can wear a mask. I won't get in trouble if I don't wear a mask. There's no COVID on the street, really, although I did see a couple of cases come up. Some of the police officers and some other people have been getting COVID from being out there. But still, all in all, Dr. Bricks does not come out and give you a, you children have been bad sermon. So I should stop whining and maybe just get out my protest flag and pretend like I'm doing that and then go do what I want to do. But I don't know. I don't know when we're ever going to get out of here.
It's insane.
It's insane. Yeah.
I was looking at one of the things the other day, and it was telling you could gather in groups of 10 people for social gatherings. But if you were going to a protest, you could have 100 people. And that's when
I kind 1,000.
That's when I kind of, well, but legally you could have 100 in this one county. That was the actual the rules they were throwing out there. But it kind of dawned on me, we've had people who haven't been able to go to family funerals, things like that.
Right.
So if that is something that you're worried about and you're maybe living somewhere where that problem is going to arise, you can't get to a funeral, they tell you that, it can't happen. All you need to do is get yourself some T-shirts and write on it, all lives matter. And protest about it, because that way you're protesting at the funeral and you can have 100 people there, right? How ludicrous is that, Nano?
You actually can have thousands of people there if you're protesting, and you can have music and parties, probably some food, some signage. Yeah, absolutely. You could be there all you want. You don't have to listen to the police. There's not going to be anybody policing you. You just do what you want to do. Absolutely. So just bring your signs and show up. And that's probably our ticket out of our locked jail cells. I'm thinking
It would appear
maybe.
so. It would appear so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We've got to go to government-approved protests to get ourselves out of our jail cells. You can
A
make this up.
woke approved protest.
Yes,
Never mind government.
very
A
much.
woke approved.
I mean,
Very different.
over here in the UK, it was beyond Monty Python levels of comedy at the weekend. For some reason, we know there's a reason, there's an agenda, but all
Right.
of the protests have made their way over here. And I was watching various cities around the UK, and I was laughing. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but I find it comical that you've got people socially distancing, all taking a knee, separated by 2 meters apart, and I've never seen anything quite as North Korean in all my life. It looked like one of these, mass displays of sorrow, or somebody's passed away in North Korea and people have to come out and they all do their thing. That's what it looked like, Nano. It looked like some ritual to the government, or some, taking the knee, taking the Masonic knee, may I add as well, to their new masters in the New World Order.
I don't know which is worse. We had people kissing people of color's boots. There's a picture of that. I have a picture and a little story of that. I have Nancy Pelosi taking a knee yesterday with all the people in Congress, Biden taking a knee, the FBI taking knees. You have people laying down on the ground in supplication. Is that the right word? Well, whatever. And just, I'm horrified. Be honest with you. I think yesterday was the worst for me to see Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if you saw that op-ed. It was yesterday. She and the other wretched people from Congress, and they were in the Emancipation Hall, and all of them are draped with these scarves, these kente cloth scarves. And I just thought, oh my God, you've got to be kidding. Kamala Harris is one of the people there. It was just shocking. To me, it was shocking. But, and so I was thinking this morning, what's the meaning of this? Why Washington, D.C.? Well, what a better way. You have Biden, you have her, and God, please don't let Trump do it. And who was the other person? I'll think of it. Oh, Piers Morgan. Did you see his article addressed to Trump? He said, if you really want to show America you care about race and national unity, President Trump, then take the knee on live TV in the Oval Office.
Can I just tell you, Nano, that nobody in Britain pays a blind bit of attention to that rat, that scumbag. He
is a scumbag.
He hacked into his paper. He authorized his journalists to hack into the phone of a dead child. And that actually put the police investigation, it sent them in the wrong direction. So anytime that guy tries to take the moral high ground with anything over anyone, the guy is lower than a snake. I would love to be in the same room as Piers Morgan. I'm telling you right now, there's only one of us coming out of there, and the Kev Baker show will be on live that night, so do the math.
Oh, I'll be there to carry the water for you and, mop up your face because you'll kick him right into oblivion in about 2 rounds.
The guy's a
my
freak.
God.
He's
disgusting.
He's a useful puppet, yeah.
He is, and that's really, I didn't take it more like he had any power, but it was just so disgusting. It was disgusting. And it's like, oh, and then Trudeau took a knee. I don't know if you caught the op-ed on that one. So he's surrounded, this is so weird. He's surrounded by his protection detail, right? So visualize this. The guy's surrounded in his protection detail, is in the middle of one of these protests, I guess. And the camera pans on him and the detail clears open a way that the camera can pan on him so that he can take a knee. And I thought, you little toy boy, soy boy. Oh,
I like that, Nano. I like that. The toy boy, soy boy. I do like that phrase. I think I'll be holding on to that. There was another one, though. Probably the most limp-wristed soy-infused individual I've ever seen. And how this cat's a mayor, I don't know. He was doing some kind of dance. I think is he the mayor of San Francisco or somewhere? He was doing the
Uh,
TikTok dance. He was taking knees. In fact, no,
oh
it was the
God.
guy that was asked whether he was going to disband or defund the Minnesota
That was
police.
isn't
Yeah,
that Minneapolis?
yeah. Whoever
And
that
then
guy is.
he said, "No, I'm not going to disband the police," and they booed him out of there,
Yeah, he
right?
went from dancing with them, doing TikTok
Yes.
dances, and how
Yes.
I mean, that is not a man.
No.
I'm sorry, that I don't know what
No.
that entity is, but who on earth voted for him, Nano? How did these people get into office in the first place?
In fact, I think it is. Can a city survive without a police force? He is Mayor Jacob Fry.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
Jacob Frey. Although the 38-year-old mayor, Jacob Frey, objects, he does not have the power to veto the move after a three-quarters majority of councilors backed it. So if they decide to defund the police or get rid of them or anything, he doesn't have the power. But yeah, he went thinking he was going to be. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing I don't get. And it's just like, this is how crazy and virus infused everyone's brains are. Did you watch the Godfather? Did you ever watch a mafia movie? What do they do with traitors? What do they do with people who turn on their own kind? They kill them. They're not going to trust you. You're not anybody they trust. You crapped all over your own people. Forget it. And that's what all these people are doing. And you think to yourself, did you not watch a mafia movie? Do you not get how this is played? Do you think the New World Order is going to be loving you when this is over? Heck no. They're kicking you out. They know who they can't trust now because you'll just turn on a dime on them. They'd probably pick people like you and me over them
No,
because at least we have a backbone. Oh my God. I just look at this. But going back to the optic of Nancy Pelosi.
Oh wow, what was that
and I
all
love
about?
her anyway.
What
Little
was
Miss
that all
Joni
about?
Ice Cream.
Mm.
It's so. I'm telling you. Do you remember I told you about that Hal Holbrook movie? I talked about it a couple weeks ago. And the whole movie was about these young kids that they use the senator to get into the Senate and they take over the country. And there's this mob mentality just like this.
Yep.
And it's happening. And that music, there's a song that goes with that movie, Nothing Can Change. Nothing can stop the change that's coming or something like that. It's just, oh my God. Oh, Lordy in heaven.
So
Lordy in heaven.
So it's been interesting since we last talked then, NanoGirl. Things
I
have
think it
moved
kind
on.
of exploded.
Yeah, things have moved on a lot, even by our standards. I mean, we were expecting
Oh my
things
God.
to pick up pace, but I never seen this instant switch been flicked where we would all be locked down 1 minute and then encouraged to get into the streets the next minute. Now, you've put on the whole kind of you went along the same lines as me. You've been noticing this new terminology, this new phrase, this new project, the Great Reset, right?
Correct.
This is something that you've basically titled tonight's show along that lines, haven't you?
Well, yeah, because this is worldwide. This is worldwide. These guys are going for it. I think the thing that was scary. So you read from that guy last night.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that was very chilling was the piece from Prince Charles. I can't believe when I was younger I used to think he was cool. What was really wrong with me? But the time to act is now. Prince Charles urges businesses to see coronavirus pandemic as a golden opportunity as he launches Great Reset project to help industries rebuild a sustainable way. Well, we already know what all that is. We've talked about it a lot on your show, right?
Yep.
You know, like you said, the food, the packaging, how we live. They're going to redesign the cities. Some of us will have jobs. A lot of us may not. Food, just everything is going to be. And what's interesting is, you think about, is it the winter solstice, right? And our buddy, quantum consciousness, Matt,
Yep.
him.
Yep.
So Kevin and I listened to this guy called Quantum Consciousness, not to be confused. I know we've talked about him the last time he was on the show.
It's confusing, that name. I don't know why it
Not to be
confuses me.
confused with Quantum Businessman. Not to be
Yes.
confused with Chris.
Yes.
But he said he thinks that we have until December. We have until the winter solstice before this cements. Now, Matt uses a term called cement. And what he means by that is that the New World Order will come out, roll out a plan, and then.
Are you there, Nano? Is everyone still there?
This
What,
puppy's still.
You are
yeah.
there. You are there. No, I think it was my end. I don't know if it was your end or my end.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're okay now.
Okay.
We're good. We're good to go.
Okay. So, like he said, what happens is the New World Order, AI, whatever you want to call it, rolls out a program, and if people grab it with both hands like this, like what's happening now, then what happens is like 5 or 6 months, if they can get a trench, if they get entrenched, it cements itself. And he feels that those of us who are aware, and that would probably be the people that show up on your show, Kev, the people that are watching this consciously and understanding what this is live. This doesn't make us better. It just, we're watching consciously, seeing what's happening live. If we don't watch our P's and Q's, we can help it cement. So he talks a lot about how to pull your energy out of that and not help cement it. But
that's why I've it's been kind of.
I was going to say real quick before we 1 second, just let me finish this one point. So what I'm saying is, when they use the word urgent and now and all those words, Kev, I'm wondering if it's winter solstice, if it's this solstice December timeframe, that they want this done in the next 6.5 months. So go for it. Sorry, just want to get that point out.
No, that's why I haven't really been covering it. It could have been really easy for me to go live over on YouTube and pull in 10, 20 different streams from cities all across the US, the UK, around the world now. But it's for this reason I don't do it. And it's kind of, it's something I've been thinking about a long time. I've brought it up a couple of times on the show, but even the alternative media in covering things, there's one way you can look at it, that we're exposing the plans and we're showing people what's going on, but there's another way to look at it as well on an energetic level, and it almost reinforces it. And as much as we're not intending these plans to come to fruition, we're still putting it out there, we're still putting energy into it, and from my point of view, on a stream, I'd be inviting maybe 100 or so of you to then pour your attention, your concentration into all of this as well. And I think they want us concentrating on it, Nano. And that's why I like doing it the way we do it. You know, we dip our toe into the real news maybe once or twice a week. But then the rest of the week, I try to take the audience away from the stuff that they want us to look at, as in the powers that be want us to look at. And when you've got all the world media focusing on Black Lives Matter and everything going on like that, that's why I kind of steer myself away from almost beating the same drum. Even though I'm coming at it from a different angle, Nano, it still feels like I'm still propagating information out to people that when you build that intent, 100th monkey syndrome, you know, we don't know what effects we're having on energetic levels that might actually be playing into these magicians' hands, you know?
Well, I think there's a difference between, I mean, we're not going to spend the whole show on it. And you didn't spend your whole show on it.
No.
And that, I mean,
But it has to be talked about.
So basically, I agree with you. And I think it's important, but I think it's important. I personally would want to know that this happened, and I would like to know what they said. I think that kind of information is helpful for me, and then what I do with it is my choice. And I agree with you that, you know, I have like 72 slides today, and that's 4 of them. So that shows you how much time we're going to spend on this.
And for
Not
anyone
more than
wanting,
probably another couple minutes. So I'm with you.
yeah, for anyone wanting to see the slides, I've got it all put together. You can, I'm going to drop it in the chat room over at the TFR Live website. I'm going to drop it in Discord as well. And that way people can follow along as we talk. And yeah, I mean, I definitely like last night and tonight. I'm enjoying the fact, not enjoying, that's the wrong word, but I'm appreciative of the fact that the KBS audience, they need to hear my take on things. They want to hear it. They'll want to hear your take on things as well.
Right.
I can't ever turn into one of those shows, Nano, that just focuses on this 24/7. You know, it just drags you down. And I've even noticed some people today, people normally that I wouldn't associate with getting triggered over things.
Yeah.
But because there's a real agenda on right now, there's a real push, there's psyops within programs, within who knows what else is going on. And I think right now, if you're feeling triggered and you're starting to feel a bit angst about what's going on, I think, you know, you need to step away, get some fresh air, because I think they want you to feel like that. I think they want all of us to get bought into this phony culture war that's playing out in amongst us. And I call it phony because at the end of it, when it's all said and done, the black people who are, again, black people being used in itself is racist because they're being used as a tool by shady old white guys that meet at places like Davos and the Bilderberg Group. And when it's all said and done and the Great Reset's done, these black people who are being championed right now and used as tools, don't think they're going to be elevated to any special level above the rest of us. We're all going to be the equal slaves under this new system, Nano. And us dividing ourselves on colour, on gender, on any of the other things they're trying to divide us on right now, we mustn't, right? We mustn't fall into that.
Like I said, has anybody watched, The Godfather or any of the mafia movies? It doesn't matter what color or race you are or what role you played in this, they'll still won't let you be a part of them.
Exactly.
You're never going to be a part of them.
Exactly.
And there are different levels of servants for them. You know, I think about this a lot. And that's what you are. You're probably never going to be more than that in their little chain of command. And even the people that we see are not the real power, you know, they are not the ones that really have the lever on power. They're just the ones, they're the minions that they're doing their master's bidding.
Very well said.
I think I'm going to throw this out there. I think for me, if nothing else, like looking at some of these pictures, if I ever had any doubts about some of the people taking the knee or some of these players, I won't go for going forward. Like the FBI. The FBI took a knee. And we've thought for a long time that the FBI isn't exactly on our sides. It's not. And so this to me is if you want to know who all the players are and who's all part of this New World Order game plan, you just got to see them on their knees. Those are the people on their knees. And so that, I think from that perspective, it's been good to see. There's no doubt. It's like the teams have been formed. The uniforms have been handed out. We all know who the coaches are. We all know what the score is. So we either can watch the game or turn away and do something different or just keep our eye on the game in the background. But in the meantime, keep our spiritual presence and our consciousness where it needs to be, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yep. And we're almost on the first break.
Again, I'd rather know.
Yeah, we're on the first break, and when we come back after the break, we're going to dive into Nano's pictures, her stream here that she's put together. Yeah,
we'll do something else.
Yeah, because I want to see Nano's take on what she's been watching in the time since we last spoke. And I'm sure that's going to be in these slides as well. And folks, like I say, remember, if you find yourself getting triggered watching the coverage of some of these protests, if the media personalities are triggering you, if the celebritards are triggering you, it's all by design. That's what I call them now, Nano. They're celebritards. They really are. They're backwards.
I like that.
We'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody takes a knee on KBS or TFR. We stand on 2 feet, we stand tall, and we look at tyranny straight in the face and we say, bring it on. And tonight I have got NanoGirl standing side by side with me in our fight against the New World Order. And hey, it's not the thing of conspiracy theories anymore. It is most definitely right in our face. But it's okay, because the llama is here to save us. Yes, I repeat, the llama is here to save us. NanoGirl, what is going on? A llama gonna save the day?
And so let me just say that going forward, none of these slides or any of the subjects are going to match. I picked things that I thought would lighten up the show. And so some things we're just gonna go through our usual nano silliness today.
Nice.
So just to let everybody know, I figured the first little portion we would kind of catch people up on, a little bit of what was going on. Okay, I saw this. This was great. Now you guys remember that I talked about the little miniature pony that took the airplane ride? You remember that?
Oh, I remember it. Yep.
Yep. Okay, this is an emotional support llama, and he participated in Portland protest march. Participants in a Portland, Oregon Black Lives Matter protest, so you can bring your llamas, Kev, and march were comforted that participants' emotional support llama joining the demonstration, the Sun reports. His name is Caesar, and the Portland area support animal and llama activist, also known as a therapy llama, has been hailed online as the No Drama Llama after joining the march on Tuesday.
The No Drama Llama.
No, only in the USA.
Nano, I think that is absolutely apt for this story. And I've never quite seen anything quite as bizarre as this. Hey, you've got all of these people.
The pony on the plane. The pony on the plane.
Yeah, the pony on the plane. I could probably find that more acceptable than turning up at a protest and finding a llama there. I tell you, it's just going from crazy to crazy, right? Do you think does the llama have to socially distance?
No, because COVID knows it doesn't touch the llama activist.
Yeah, it's a woke virus. It has to be.
It is a woke virus.
It's the most woke virus in the world.
Do you know, when you think about it, it doesn't touch presidents. It doesn't touch people in Congress. It doesn't touch, because they kind of wear their mask and they don't.
Well, it got Boris. It got Boris. But then again, Boris did give us Brexit, so he was always going to get payback somehow.
Yeah,
right?
I felt like he got it on purpose. I think it can be targeted. See, I know that sounds weird. I really do believe that it can be targeted. I do. I don't know how. I don't know why, and I don't have any proof. But yeah, I think he did. He got it, and didn't. And little soy boy, got it too. Remember that? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And little Cuomo's brother got it too. So it just. Oh, and don't forget the premier king of all, Tom Hanks.
Oh, of course, yes. The man that triggers.
And Mrs. Tom Hanks.
The man that triggers the whole of the 17th letter cult. Poor Tom Hanks. Man, he's
the one whose blood cells are going to be in our vaccine. So yeah.
Yep.
So come on now, let's keep up. Okay, but anyway, I thought that was cute. I love this. Okay, let's do the next slide. Can you please go down to number 20 or 21? And this is The Rock. Yeah, go down. We're going to skip all that reset crap.
What is The Rock saying?
There you go. Okay, let me read this to you. Now, I want you to go back into your brain, Kev. I thought that you and I talked about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, could possibly run for president about 2 or 3 years ago on your show.
We did.
Does that ring a bell?
Oh, we definitely did. No, we absolutely did.
That's what I thought, right? Yeah. But it was about
there was stories
3 years
at the
ago,
time.
4 years ago?
There was stories at the time that he was going to make a run in 2020,
yes.
and it was it was in the aftermath of Donald Trump winning, and I remember it well because I've often joked recently about maybe we'll get The Rock next. You know, we'll have, since we've had the reality TV show star in there now, we might as well have a wrestler, right?
So guess what he said yesterday? He was a little disappointed in how Trump handled things. And the man known worldwide as The Rock received a tidal wave of support following his contemplative addressing from his home, where the actor admitted to feeling frustrated, disappointed, and angry at seeing a country on its knees while widespread protests sparked the death of George Floyd, blah, blah, blah. And then here's the key comment. He had previously refused to rule out a run for 2020 presidency, but has since said that the 2024 election is a realistic aim.
Sure, I mean, come on. I know you've had an actor in there before, Ronald Reagan, right?
Oh, God.
But has it got that bad that The Rock, Vince McMahon's character, The Rock, is actually going to be the most important man in the free world? Really? What have we come to, Nano?
Yeah, and if you look at his wife, she's on YouTube. She writes music. She's kind of an interesting sort of Beyonce kind of rock star kind of person. Rock star's old.
Who is his wife? I don't know. I'm not sure who she is.
I can't remember her name, but she's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, we have another beautiful wife, right?
I mean, The Rock's he's a brilliant character. He was great at the wrestling. He's a really crap actor.
Have you noticed, though, the kind of movies, he's always a good person. He's pretty clean. He has lots of kids in it. The kids are taken care of by him.
Yeah, he's pretty much voted one of the most popular men, I think, in the world at one point as well. So the Rock can do no wrong, Nano. He'll come in and save the day.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I thought, I know Kevin and I talked about this about 3 or 4 years ago. I knew you'd remember that.
Definitely. When you brought him up there, actually, when I was scrolling down to look for him, I was going to say, don't tell me he's running. But it looks like he's going to run. Yep, cool.
It looks like it. Yep. And I know we'd had a long conversation. Did we think he could win?
Well, after Donald Trump, I honestly think anyone could win at this point, to be honest with you.
Which isn't saying much, isn't it? And I thought, could we ever get a statesperson in there? A person who is articulate, educated, understands the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, isn't a star, is someone who is interested in pulling the country together. I don't care who that is. That's why I say statesperson. I don't even care what you are, but could you be a true human being?
I know people won't like it, but I think you just described Tati AOC. We need AOC. That's who we need.
Oh, speaking of the AOC, Tim Pool did a very interesting article on her yesterday. People are throwing down thousands of dollars to anybody that's running against her.
Oh.
People running against her in her own party and people running against her in the Republican Party. They are making buku bucks because people in the USA want AOC out. I thought if there's one piece of good news, that would be my piece of good news. Goodbye, AOC. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
It would be nice if it would simply take her removal to fix everything. I think we're going to have to wait for The Rock.
We've gone way beyond her.
Yeah, I think we need to wait for The Rock, to be honest with you. I'm hanging out for The Rock.
I would.
Yeah.
And in fact, I thought to myself, the things that are going on now make AOC look like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. I never thought that we'd see that, but we are. Okay, we can go to the next subject. By the way, if you and I decide to join the looters and protest, I just want you to know, please don't steal the Apple phones because they can track them, just as an FYI.
Yeah, that's really...
Thieves who made off, I don't know if people know this, but if thieves who made off with iPhones from Apple stores quickly learned that the gadgets were loaded with special security software, it displays a special message for looters. This device has been disabled and is being tracked. Local authorities will be alerted.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Ouch. Oh, now that really, that's a dumb criminals one right there, I must admit. Not that looters have got like the IQ in 150 range, I would imagine in the first place, I get that, but there's something quite funny about that, to be honest with you.
This is karma. I mean, this is good karma. I wish that all, in fact, you probably have the Internet of Things on everybody's t-shirts, right? Everything everyone takes has tags everywhere. Yep. And I'm hoping that everybody can track all that stuff. It's not right to steal from all these business people. It's wrong. And, we know that some of those tags have trackers on them. And I think people should use everything they can. This would be one time where I'd say go for it. Use every piece of technology you can get your hands on to track your stuff and take them to justice. I mean, just looting people's stores is just not right.
I must admit, I had feared that aspect would revisit the UK. I say revisit because it was only a few years ago we had riots and looting going on over here anyway. Funnily enough, it was all kicked off over the police's treatment of a man of colour whilst in custody. So go figure. Yeah. Some things it's just cyclical, quite obviously.
Well, I think there's no accident. I think all the stuff is programmed. I mean, if you go back looking at all the scarves, think of the orchestration of taking the knee in the Capitol. They did it on Monday. They all had the exact same scarf, so they had to order those scarves. From a marketing, one of the things I've done before is I've done events, okay? I was a trade show manager it was one of my many jobs, and I did 3 or 4 trade shows. So I can tell you they had to order the scarves, they had to book the room, you had to make sure you had everybody's buy-in, right? You had probably a Zoom meeting. And you said, okay, which one of you people are available to be in the hall so we can all take the knee? Then you invite the press. This was all orchestrated. This was not spontaneous.
It's so fake, and this is what it's all about. I feel
it is fake.
I feel more people are interested in being at the protests and taking the knee just so that they can be seen to do so and virtue signal to the equally moronic out there who actually put some value in this. If changing the knee was going to save the world and end, all of the racism that's always existed, people really think that this is solving anything. That's what I don't get, Nano. It's insane,
I don't get it either.
No.
I really don't get it either. It's crazy. So let's go to the next one. This will be slide 24. This is good, Ned. We're going to skip Buildings Matter too. Go to the next one. Yeah. Now, again, you guys, I just picked articles that made me laugh, and this one does too. So this was an article from Philadelphia. Mayor Jim Kenney kicked off a recent briefing on Philadelphia's coronavirus response with unusual requests for residents. Be careful what you flush. So because they ran out of toilet paper, right? They've been flushing masks and wipes, and so they said they've been getting clogs of rags, tissues, paper towels, wipes, and it's clogging all of the drains. It's an epidemic of wipes and masks plaguing sewers and the storm drains.
This is when I took a walk with my son. I think it was last week. We just kind of took a walk around the scheme here. The project, I suppose you would call it in America. And while we were walking about, though, it was quite shocking. The amount of disposable gloves, the amount of masks, and just in general PPE type equipment that's been obviously discarded after being used. And it was myself and my boy were saying, if any of these people have come into contact with others and things like that, I mean, here they are, being the good Samaritan, wearing their face mask with pride and their gloves on. And then when nobody's looking, they just throw it in the street anyway. If that doesn't show you the hypocrisy of some of these people that are seen to be so virtuous and they've got their masks on, their gloves, and look at me, I'm all corona safe. Yeah, until everyone's eyes are turned and nobody's looking and they throw it just in the street. It's disgusting, Nano.
No, it is. And I'm just absolutely fascinated by the fallout of this whole thing starting in March. Like the articles I have, a lot of them are just the fallout. Like what happens when you take an entire planet, as many countries as you can, and you throw down all this insanity? What happens? What's the disruption? What's the outpicturing of that? What's the psychology of it? To me, it's really fascinating, that part of it. And then how are you going to bring in your program that you want to keep rolling? How are you going to keep marketing that? How are you going to keep people signed up for that? How are you going to keep people energized in all of that? What does that look like? Because at some point, and I'll tell you right now, I think personally I'm fatigued. I'm just fatigued. Over the weekend, I turned all this junk off. At night, I turn it off. Now I watch old episodes of great TV shows from the early 2000s or the 1990s, because I just want to think about a happier time.
Yep.
I just want to be immersed in a more peaceful time where things weren't so crazy, and I think a lot of people feel that way.
That's why
It's
I
just too crazy.
that's why I keep encouraging people. The minute you start feeling it, walk away.
Turn it
Even
off.
yeah,
Oh,
even if
yeah.
it's outside for a little cup of coffee, a
Yeah.
smoke, whatever you do, just
Yeah.
don't let yourself get dragged into it, because they are desperate to get as many people buying into everything right now as they
Right.
can. And
Yep.
it's hard, Nano. I found myself getting angry, and that's when I had to go, whoop, step back, no
Yeah.
more looking, no. And I
Well,
felt better for it. Now, people will say, but
yeah.
Kev, that's just sticking your head up your bum and, ignoring everything that's going on around about you. It's not, because I see what's going on round about me. And it's just me buying into it and watching it constantly from my
Yeah.
personal point of view. Like you were saying
Right.
there, starts to get to you. It's not good for you. It really isn't.
No, I can see it in how I feel, what my thoughts are.
Yep.
I've heard from a number of sources. If you have a team of awake people who are participating at a very high consciousness, high vibration level, you're going to accomplish an amazing amount of things. And how you direct the team, how you direct that energy is very important. And that's basically all we're seeing is, you know, we want to, or I want to be a part of something that doesn't give the cement to the AI, to the New World Order, that I'm not part of the cement team. And I think I've kind of come upon this this last 4 or 5 months, actually. The realization that my focus, my energy, am I actually helping them cement this reality? And then how do I start to pull out? And it comes back to just focusing on what you can do in your own reality and how you play it yourself and what kind of energy you give it. So I agree with you. And it's not good for us, I think. And I still find it really fascinating that it doesn't seem like the hospitals are taking care of people yet either. They're still not taking care of the people with cancer or the other diseases. I mean, I'm still listening to reports on that. They still haven't gotten that up and running. Does that mean those people will learn how to do holistic health? That's a question I have. I don't know. It's hard to know. It's certainly hard to know. So another article that I wanted to get into, speaking of doctors, this is the next one. Jab to go. This is a jab to go, Kev.
Oh, nice.
And of course it's in Florida. Dr. Miami plastic surgeon offering drive-through Botox injections to quarantine residents during coronavirus pandemic. A Miami plastic surgeon is offering drive-through Botox. He said otherwise, is Michael Salishauer, otherwise known as Dr. Miami, has been running a clinic for injections in the garage of his Florida home. And so picture people driving up, and he's making sure that you don't get your wrinkles back. And he's got all of the shelves in his garage, and he's all got his PPP on, his mask and gloves, and people are sitting in their car with their mask on, and he's injecting them with the Botox. You cannot get a haircut, but you can get your Botox, Kev.
This has got to be a stepping stone on the collapse of civilization, right?
It's hilarious.
It's just like something out of Idiocracy. This is Monty Python has gone real world.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And like I said, if you look at the secondary, third third tier news stories, you think to yourself, no, wait, is that real?
Exactly.
Yeah, it is real. And that's what I'm seeing. I mean, but how industrious is this? It's industrious.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. From that point of view, absolutely. You
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
However, at the same time, we've got, as we're being told, a deadly pandemic sweeping the world that
Uh-huh.
is a woke pandemic, and you can still go out and protest perceived injustices in the world. But of course, don't mention the people in Yemen or Palestine or anywhere like that. It's very selective who we're going to champion. And yeah, while at the same time, I can't get a haircut. I'm looking like I'm bringing mullets back, and there's a dude doing drive-through Botox in America. I tell
Yes.
you, if this isn't some version of idiocracy, Nano, I don't know what is anymore.
I know, but do you want your wrinkles to come back?
I
Yes.
suppose I want to look good
Come
when
on.
I want my forehead to look good because, I mean, obviously my face mask will cover everything else. I want to have a really
Exactly.
finely smoothed, polished brow. I get it now, Nano. I was a bit judgy there when the story came up, but now I'm on board.
I think you're kind of missing the really cool point of this.
No, no.
Wrinkles, I mean, the wrinkles on your face have not stopped.
Yeah.
And the world is turning, and I think you should always look your best. And if a pandemic is going on, or riots, or the world is falling apart, you can still look your best.
Yeah,
That's
see,
what
it's an American thing. These have got better DNA than us. These are a better looking people. In Britain, it would take a lot more than a DIY Botox job to fix most of us, Nano. I think that's the problem. I think that's where we're going.
Well, actually, one of the things I admire about you guys and the actors and actresses is they don't do their face, and I admire that about you guys. You'll see things on Masterpiece Theater. You'll see actors and actresses from the UK, and it's nice. It's refreshing. It's one of the things I like. They don't do you don't, like, if you see Haley Mills, you see her sister, you see people that, are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. They're not out doing their faces. They don't end up looking like, caricatures of themselves when they were 20. They just age gracefully. So to me, hail on you, as an HAIL. And the reason I brought it up too is because I know how you always make fun of Miami. So, and you make fun
We
of
have to, yeah. Miami, Florida, it's an entity. It should be a standalone country, shouldn't it?
it is a standalone
Yeah, it
country.
should be. Yeah, definitely.
I know. And in this next article, I know we're about ready for a break, but did you see this one where scientists grow mini human livers from stem cells, successfully transplant them into rats?
No, that's pretty cool, though.
It is.
Yep.
And remember that article about 3 weeks ago where they said that they're making rats 4% human? They're 4% human now? Remember that article? They've done chimera rats where they're actually 4% human. Do you remember
nice,
that one?
Nice. I do remember something about it, yeah.
You guys talked about it on your show, and I think I brought it. I don't think I did because I think you guys did.
I remember something about it, but now that you're saying it, for some reason it's a little more profound hearing it from you. A rat is now 4% human.
Well, they have rats that are. They've developed them.
Nice.
So I'm thinking it's so sweet of them to grow our little livers. If you look at the next picture.
I know a lot of people really kind of balk at like stem cell treatment and things like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's absolutely amazing. It could be such a breakthrough if we get it all done right. And I know people that get stem cell treatment. And really kind of cool biology, this stuff. Although the 4% human rat, this time next year 7%.
I know. So here's what I was thinking. Something to think over the break. What if I was 4% rat? How would that affect me?
You would get into the political scene, Nano. You've got to have a bit of rat DNA and you become a politician. You do.
Do you remember Bewitched? Would your nose twitch like hers did?
Yep.
Yep. You do that twitchy nose thing.
Bewitched. That's an old show that came back again. Yep.
Yep. Yep. I
Yep,
know.
there you go.
And
Now
then
we've
the
got.
next one, and this is right before a break.
Yep.
Prototype robot that carries out throat swab tests for coronavirus using a disposable 3D printed arm is developed by Danish researchers. That way the robot can do it.
Yeah.
And a human doesn't need to stick the nasty Q-tip down your throat.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like you're, I don't know, Nano. That looks ominous, doesn't it? Right? You're putting yourself.
It looks
Doesn't it?
very ominous.
Yeah, it looks so not good. I don't like
So for
anything
people
tickling
who
the back of my
can't
throat.
for people who can't see it, this guy is like opening his mouth and this robot arm is sticking a big Q-tip down his throat.
Oy, 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 oy. Not good. No, that's not. That doesn't look pleasant at all. And folks, I'll tell you what is pleasant. We've still got 1 hour to go with NanoGirl right here on KBS Live, on TFR Live. Join us after the break. Don't go anywhere. Our number 2 on today's Kev Baker show, and myself and NanoGirl, we've both agreed the world has gone insane. But never fear, we are your little island of sanity out here in the sea of tranquility. Well, it's tranquil for a while until we get back into it and we take a look at some of the stuff that Nano has pulled up here. Nano, one of the things I've been noticing a lot happening is that Skype, thankfully, has lost its corona battle. Zoom has been the number one kind of messenger camera
Yes.
service. Seen a lot of people using it. Some
Yeah.
good, some bad. And
Oh yeah.
you found somebody that maybe needs to brush up on their skills as well, right? Mm-hmm.
Again, another fallout from this whole craziness because everybody has a virtual meeting. So Mexican senator accidentally goes topless on Zoom meeting.
Way, oh, she had her macaroons out. Yay!
Mexican senator Mexican lawmakers accidentally show up topless in a government Zoom meeting, but later insisted she was not ashamed of having shown her body. Senator Martha Lucia Meacher Camarena, 66, said she had no idea she was still on camera when she stripped off to get changed during last Thursday's meeting. This was like 2 weeks ago, about the economy. Oh, good, she's talking about the economy, only realizing when colleagues alerted her. Okay.
Now, Nano, I know you girls like your wardrobe changes and things, but I mean, halfway through a meeting, even if she'd thought she was off the camera, is it like the thing to do? Get changed there at the desk, at the PC? I think she's telling porkies. I think she's a bit of an exhibitionist, this one. I think she enjoyed her time on Zoom.
Well, you can't really see her face. I mean,
thankfully.
They blurted out. Okay, here's a couple things. Now, you guys know that I've worked in like tech companies.
Yeah, big ones, Nano.
I worked at Cisco, and so the biggest thing is WebEx. Everything is like a virtual. You have everybody all over the world. So at least once or twice a day, you're in a virtual meeting.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a room and you're in a virtual meeting. And the two things you want to remember every single time, all the time, mute doesn't necessarily mean that they can't hear you. And a camera being off doesn't mean they can't see you, even though in other words, it's none of those are guaranteed. When you're in a meeting, mute, but keep in mind, people might still be able to see you. So my rule of thumb is until my computer is off of whatever virtual program I'm using, the camera's off, I've closed the meeting, and I know that I'm done talking and that we're disconnected, I act like everybody can see me and everybody knows what's going on. That's just, I mean, you don't know when the technology goes cuckoo on you. And if you aren't used to this kind of setup to meet colleagues, you're just not aware. I could see where she could have an accident. This one seems a little bit over the edge. I'd agree with you on that, Kev, but still. And,
I'm just
now,
regretful it wasn't AOC that was taking part in this Zoom meeting.
oh God,
You
I
wouldn't have
don't
got
even
me
want to
off
hear
it,
about her.
Nano.
Oh, oh my God.
Oh, you
Yes,
know I love to trigger you with her.
I
But
know.
as much as I
God,
would
that
like
woman.
to sit and talk about the Mexican senator's macaroons,
We're
I do
gonna.
suppose we should move on. What have we got next here now, Nano?
Okay, so I'm just going to mention briefly, we are going to be, Disney is planning to open. You don't have to go back to the slide if you don't want to.
Oh, I
This is
have to.
right
He's got
there.
a cool hat on.
That's a cool hat. That's the Cinderella's. So visualize a guy with a mask on, and he has Cinderella's castle on the top of his hat, on the top of his head. And Mickey, I found a picture of him with a mask. So Disney officials said they might make relaxation zones where people will be allowed to remove their face masks while they're at the park. And they're going to have high energy squads of employees who will roam the parks, checking to make sure people are wearing masks, and all their animals, the Mickey, the Minnie, all those, Goofy, they're not going to be running around. There'll be no host parades or fireworks, and character meet and greets will be paused. Now, you'd think that they wouldn't pause that because they're in those ridiculous costumes.
Yep.
Other than the Cinderellas and the Prince Charmings, the human people. But I'm thinking, well, God, they've got a mask and a spacesuit on. They got those animal fur things. But anyway, I like the high energy squads.
Yeah, can somebody not have a word with the virus? And, we've negotiated that protests are okay. We've negotiated that the soccer field, the grass is okay. The stands, not so much. But can we not negotiate that we get our Disney World back? Can people not have some kind of normality back? Albeit not normal.
Fun. No. Because Disney is fun. You can protest, but you can't go to the beach. You can't go camping. You can't get your hair done. You can't get your nails done. You can't get your little toesies done. No. Those are fun things. The stores are all closed. You can't be shopping.
You can get Botox in Florida, though.
Well, that's an emergency and it's extremely important. I think you've messed up your priorities.
I know. I need to rearrange my life. I really do. I need to get a life, Nano. That's what it is.
I think you have to reset your priorities,
Yeah,
Jeff.
I need a reset. That's what it is.
All right, so okay, this is going to be just a few minutes on this one. I could not pass this one up. So the post office, our U.S. Postal Service Department, whatever, has been in trouble for a while, and so now they've reported that they could be out of work and in big trouble and shut down very soon because they don't have enough money. And we all know that Congress is busy passing laws so that we can only vote by mail. And that's what this is about. And now that the nation is heading towards an election where millions more Americans are likely to vote by mail, the agency's crisis could threaten the democratic process. I thought, oh, good. Another S show.
Very much so. So if the post gets scrapped, then what's it to be? Is it like a kind of reality show? Are we all going to, all the American citizens go to a website? I mean, what happens then?
Yeah, go to Twitter. Maybe we could just vote by Twitter or Facebook, or you pick your favorite social, whatchamacallit, site that you like.
Why can't we just be
media.
honest? We might as well just get to the point where people like The Rock and other actors they just audition for the role.
It's not his time.
It's not his time, but I'm thinking, Nano, these politicians are so... we're changing everything anyway, right? It's the Great Reset.
Yeah.
So we get rid of them, and we just have it like they host a nation. They basically, they run for the job of pretending to be president or pretending to be prime minister. And at least it'd be far more honest. They then could deliver the lines given to them by the permanent government, the people we don't vote. And then maybe the people would find it a bit more acceptable,
Well, it might be more entertaining.
Exactly, and at this point, it's all it can be, Nano, because...
or, more scarily, it could just be AI. It could just be virtual characters
Well, I
that
think
we
that's
all
where I
vote.
think all you people out there that are calling for police forces to be disbanded and things like that, be very careful. Because I think that could go all very AI and robotic-y very quite easily. I can see that shift being made.
Yeah, the drones will come in,
Yeah,
but but more scarily, they'll bring in people that we don't want policing us. Trust me. We don't want whatever they have in mind. That's not what we want, but anyway, we're going to keep it light. So we're going back to the light
yes,
conversations.
yes.
Okay. Again, focusing on the psychology of returning back to reality once I get out of my prison cell. Um, More and more articles are coming out about if you ever get to go back to a restaurant, how we do social distancing. So there's another couple of pictures of restaurants, some of them outside where they have these red teddy bears sitting in the tables so you don't take up too much space and you're not sitting too close. And then you still have the mannequins, which I personally love. Then you got all the plastic containers or plastic dividers. And I'm going to go to slide 2 now. We got more robots and stuff. So I'm clicking on slides 2. So anyway, I continue to keep an eye out for any new pictures or ideas they have about how they're going to open the offices or how they're going to serve food. And people are asking the question on the radio here, the local radio. It's like, well, if you wear your mask to a restaurant, how are you supposed to eat? You know? And our local Starbucks opened this week, and all the chairs are stacked. You can't stay. You order your drink, and they hand it to you, and you have to leave. It's like, okay, well, thanks for dropping by. Okay,
Wow.
here's my $5 for coffee. Whoopee! I mean, half the reason you went to the Starbucks or the coffee shop in the first place when they didn't put them out of business was to sit and chat. Maybe just sit for 15 minutes and be out of your house and just
Exactly.
enjoy.
And
Anyway,
I've noticed the stuffed toys, the teddy bears,
yeah,
they've been deployed to
yes, they
sport.
have.
Yeah, they've been deployed to sports stadiums. I know there's one in
Yes.
Germany, one in America's doing it as well. I
And
think.
don't forget the blow up dolls
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
sex dolls. Yep,
yeah. And then
those are there.
we've got the soccer about to start over here in the UK again.
Yeah,
No crowds, obviously. And
no.
I don't know if they're going to have teddy bears or cutout people, but I know if you're watching it at home, they're going to give you the option of having crowd chants. Almost to give it that atmosphere like you're back at the game again, Nano. It's a bizarre, weird world altogether. But yeah, the whole social distancing and restaurants and eating out and things,
Hmm.
it's quite, I don't know if the word's fun. It's interesting to watch some of the contraptions, some of the ways around the social distancing and things they come up with. But
Yeah.
the world can't possibly go on with this forever, right?
Well, here's the thing I'm thinking while you're talking, because again, sometimes I do your show and things kind of come to me that I wouldn't have necessarily thought about. But at the end of the day, we really want to hang out with friends. We want to hang out with people we know. We want to socialize. Maybe what happens is we start socializing more at home. You know, it's like, you know what? I don't want to go to Starbucks if they're just going to hand me my drink. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. I'm just as happy to pick it up and leave. That's fine. It's like, yep, I'm going to work or, whatever. It's just give me my drink. I'm out of here, or after I've got done shopping with groceries. Um, so that's okay. But so much of what I used to do is gone. It's just gone. And so I have to figure out other things to do anyway. And so that's probably about all this conditioning that we're going through. And maybe we'll just start doing more things with family, more things with friends, barbecue more, hang out with friends, go outside and walk, go out and be outside in the fresh air, go
Yeah.
be with nature, go to the beach, go do things like that, and just say, you know what, whatever it is we did before, we're not going to do anymore. The stores are closed, but you guys aren't going to control us. We're going to find the gloriousness of this planet. I mean, the planet is so amazing. It's so amazing to be here. This place is so beautiful. I think planet Earth is stunning. And I think the fact that it's so magical, how we can think something and create something so beautiful. We really are amazing creatures, and we were adapted to this planet. That's why we're here. The planet speaks to us, and we speak to the planet, like gardening or whatever else you love to do. And maybe that's one thing we got to keep, that there is that's going to be our new reality, not new normal, new reality, that we spend much more time hanging out with the planet, because the planet needs us, and I think we need the planet right now just to ground us, to keep us grounded. So the fact that you and your son went out and walked and got outside, that's so grounding. I go to the beach still. I walk to the beach every single day. It's my salvation. I go and look at that ocean, and I think, because nothing can touch the ocean. You can't touch the sky, you can't touch the ocean. Maybe you can put some chemtrails in it, but at the end of the day, nobody's that powerful to change it. You're not going to make it bright yellow or magenta. You don't have that kind of power. So anyway, that's kind of how I see it. So
Yeah, I hope that
you know,
that's one of the good things we take out of this. I know over here they
yeah,
were telling us to designate 5 to 10 people at one point. They were floating the idea in Scotland where you would have named contacts so that you could congregate in your little groups. I know, Nano, I know. The way you put it was so brilliant, but the way the government, when they put it in writing, it sounded horribly Orwellian. But thankfully, it didn't come to that. And I just worry about not your big restaurant chains or your big corporations, but like
yeah,
your proper little businesses, that rely on people, word of mouth. The food's good there. I
right,
mean, these places are all going to go by the wayside, unfortunately, and that's a shame. But I do hope
yes.
that, being humans, we do have a really remarkable ability to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And
We,
yeah,
you can take that to the bank.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
can put
again,
masks on us, they can distance us, but in the end of the
yeah,
day, we're gonna get round it, and we're gonna get back to who we are.
we're smart rats. I like I said, we're the smart rats. I have a lot of respect for mice and rats. Those guys are not stupid. They're smart. And we are going to do something amazing out of all this. I don't think we came here to be Nancy Pelosi's slave and eat Joni ice cream. Sorry. I just don't think we did. So, I mean, that's how I see it. I'm not her servant. She supposedly works for us. So, but anyway, I think that the monkey wrench that's going to go into all of this is what we do, what we think, how we act. We don't, and Kev, we don't even know. We don't know. We don't know what does standing up for ourselves mean at this moment in time. We're practicing it differently every day because every day something new comes up. But it's making us stronger. And do you remember that conversation we had? It was about a couple of months ago, and we talked about the movies, how the villains always show up complete, but it is the heroes in all the movies that grow because they're faced with the adversity.
Yeah.
And that's who we are. We are the heroes of this movie, and we are growing through this incredible time, because every single time I do your show, I have to balance what I'm going to say. Think about not coming on here and being a giant angry jerk. Believe me, sometimes I'm putting slides together and I go, "Arr!" But I'm not going to come on your show and do that because nobody needs to listen to that. And so it challenges me to think outside my own box of limitations and think about, okay, if you're the hero of your show, what are you going to do today? What are you going to say? How are you going to think differently? How are you going to interact with things better? How are you going to be better? I'm kind of challenging myself every day. How can I be better? So we are the heroes of the show, Kev, and we are not complete. We are growing through this. We are evolving. And that's why they're in such a hurry, because what I think is interesting is as fast as they roll out their crap, we're on them. We know exactly what they're doing. We're seeing it. Yesterday, I saw exactly what Nancy and the scarves were doing. What is it with the scarves anyway? But, it's like it wasn't even you didn't even have to think about it. It's like, what kind of organized crap show is this?
I've got a theory about the
like
scarves.
idiots.
Got a theory about the scarves, and I think it's that Doctor Strangeglove that's doing the rounds. I think he is a literal vampire, and they're all hiding their little telltale spots. It's the only thing I can.
Interesting. Oh, you mean on their necks?
Yeah, they've all been bitten by the Fauci.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it is. Dr. Fauci got them. Yeah.
And now we've got, and have you noticed, well, you might not have noticed, I've noticed the little Miss Joni Ice Cream is wearing scarves all the time now, too.
Now, who is Joni Ice Cream?
Nancy Pelosi.
As soon as you said ice cream to myself there, I knew exactly who it was.
Nancy Antoinette. Yeah.
Did she actually have problems getting back up off her reconstructed knee yesterday? It seems she kind of got seized up down there. She couldn't quite move, right?
They were down there for the same amount of time that it took for the police officer to kill George Floyd. So it was like 8 minutes and however long. And believe me, I am not being any kind of rude or disrespectful about that.
No,
that
neither am I when I say this.
They're just using it.
Of course they are.
They're being disrespectful.
And I get the whole get the knee thing was before George Floyd came along, and you had that idiot Kaepernick. He was doing it. You had that one, the captain of the female American football team. She was another one. But is it just me? And again, I say this not to be insensitive. It's an observation. Everyone taking the knee is actually reproducing the exact same move that led to the killing of George Floyd in the first place. Somebody took a knee on his throat. And now you've got everyone.
I didn't think of that.
Every time I watch people taking a knee, and I think back to that video, and I think you do realise you're doing exactly the same motion that guy done in taking that life. And again, I don't say it to be insensitive, but it's an observation that I can't get away from.
I can tell you that it horrifies me to see this. It's vile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no matter what color, no color comes into it. Yeah, color doesn't come into it,
No, it doesn't. And nor does Black Lives Matter or any of it. This is about something vile. Yep. Very vile.
I agree with you. I really do agree.
Almost satanistic. I mean, you want to know how I really feel about this Nancy thing? That when I saw this, and I don't say this lightly because I'm not a Christian person. I don't really read the Bible or anything. I just felt like this was so Satanist to me. This was so, we're bowing to whatever dark force that has taken over everything. We have submitted to you, whatever that is. And that's how I see the taking of the knee and laying on the ground and all that stuff.
Nano, I was watching Dan Dix. I love Dan Dix. But I agree with everything he says. Majority of it, And I watched him getting arrested in Vancouver. And it wasn't the arrest, it was the day before. And there was these feminists, or feminazis as I call them, because... Trust me, they're not interested in women's rights. These are brainwashed. And like you said there's almost something evil to them, because it's like their eyes are sticking out in stalks. They're just shouting incoherent babble. They don't look as if they're in control. They're spitting. They're trying to scratch people. This isn't normal behaviour for young girls, ladies, mid-teens to... The ages I've seen probably up to about 30. This wasn't normal, natural behaviour. And even aside from everything that's gone on and the reason why people are on the streets, this was nothing to do with that, Nano. This was just like a mob of baying type. I don't know, they were baying for the guy's blood,
It's funny you brought that up. I forgot to mention this to you because I thought about it about a week ago, and so I knew we were going to be on the show. Okay, remember our buddy Kevin? Was it another Kevin, right? The MD.
Yeah, Kevin McCairn. Yeah, Kevin McCairn. Yeah.
Carrie, yes. Okay. There was a gentleman, I'm going to use it that way. He came running out of nowhere I think it was New York City. He was naked, naked, naked. And he started pounding on the protesters. He held his own. I don't know how he did that, but all I could think about was Kevin and what he had said. And then there was a picture of, I think it was mayor from New York City, right? His daughter. She was protesting and she got arrested. You should have seen the picture of her. Robert Phoenix showed a picture of her. Her eyes were one color. You talk about black-eyed children. Yeah. Her eyes were one color. And it's just what you described of those women and when I look at some of the antics of people, the ones that just go out of control, I keep going back to what Kevin said, that this virus affects people like Tourette's. And that, I'm telling you, I can't imagine a normal, okay, wrong word. I can't imagine a healthy man. This guy couldn't have been more than 27 or 28. He was in really good shape, running around naked, attacking people who are protesters. First of all, it's felony insanity. It's like, what are you doing? There's more than them. Look how many there are. But he held his own. And it was like he had super strength, Kev. They knocked him down. And he got right back up and he had no clothes on, no weapons. He just went after him.
And
I thought,
I know Kev's,
oh my God.
Kev's still following that, Nano. And he's, he's been proven right time and time again with that neurological aspect to the COVID.
Yes.
He was the first guy that came on with us and he said, COVID zombies don't cough. Or sorry, they don't bite, they cough. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go anywhere, folks. Yes, I got it wrong. We'll be back on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm looking at my good friend NanoGirl's face as she looks at all of the madness that's going on my screen here. I've got Discord open, I've got the TFR chat room open, I've got music from earlier on, we've got Nano's slides here, and I don't know about you, Nano, but A, a brilliant conversation we've had today, and B, it's gone by quicker than ever. This is the quickest show we've ever done, and we've done some quickies. Yep.
We've done some things that just flew by. Yeah, I have to say, it's so funny because, and I think it's because it takes a while to get the slides done, and then to come on your show and have it feel like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for 2 hours. That's amazing.
That first segment for me today is, it was a bit weird actually. Because when the music came on to finish up the segment, it really didn't feel like we'd done anything. And I was saying to you, that first hour of the show, that was breakneck speed. But now that I look back at all of it, we've only got one left. It's all slipping by so fast, Nano. So I'm going to give it over to you. Tell us,
okay.
what else do you want to get out to your audience today that are listening to you very intently?
Well, I think we should skip around because it's going so fast. Let's go to, are you on the second slide? You are. Can you please go to the last four? Go to number 34. And you guys know that I like to kind of give you an update on what The Economist is talking about. So if you go to slide 34, Kev, we'll start there. It's at the very bottom.
There we go.
Okay. And so every week I check to see what the cover of The Economist is saying during all of this craziness. And there's been two covers. And I think this one was for the very end of May. And so if you guys can't see this, let me just describe it real quick. On the Economist cover, there's a picture, visualize a lonely road out in the middle of America, nowhere. And all you see is a road, a two-lane road. You see telephone wires, and on the side of the road, you see a big tombstone that says 100,000. And then the title on the top says The American Way, and that's it. Not too ominous. And obviously it's about the 100,000 people that have died of COVID. Now, this was put out before the craziness with the riots and stuff. And then the other picture they have, which was very telling in my mind for many reasons, is they have a picture that, because one of the articles is the vulnerability of African Americans to the coronavirus is a national emergency. It is past time to fix a glaring disparity. And you have a picture of, you know, the caduceus, right? The two snakes. And so one of them is white and healthy, and the other one is black and sick, and looks like it looks like it's been on fire. It looks like it's been burnt and very sickly. And I thought, well, this isn't too racist, is it? To me, I mean, it was a very racist picture for people who are not supposed to be racist. And then the other cover, if we go to this one here, the next, this is the one from last week. This was the May 6th cover. There's a picture of riots with the police on the left, again, the police on the left, and then the rioters on the right. And it says, the fire this time, police violence, race, and protest in America. Will protesters in American cities bring progress or set back the cause they champion? And I'm thinking, well, first of all, you guys are the ones behind this. Why don't you tell us, little Mr. and Mrs. Programmer? And the other thing, there's some, so when you go to Google and you type in the Economist cover, if you type in the Economist cover, June 2020, you will be able to look at the covers, and you'll also be able to get a snippet of the articles. Like, you can actually get the first couple of paragraphs. I finally found a link where I could find all this stuff real easy because I go there every week. And some of the other subjects they're covering, one is called article from this episode or issue for June 6th it's called What's Mine is Yours. This sharing economy will have to change. So if you think about Airbnb, calling the cars to pick us up, all of those things, people, like here in Santa Cruz, you had an app where you could actually find a driveway where you could park your camper for the day. If you could pay them just to use it because there's no parking.
Yep.
All that kind of sharing stuff. And so that's what they're saying. The sharing economy will have to change. And then they have gloves all over the pictures. And then the pressure to make the post-COVID rebound green. Well, there's going to be a lot on that. But the other one, and this is the thing I notice on Drudge Report, like I'll go to Drudge Report every day. So when I put your show notes together, Kev, one of the things I do is I usually go to Drudge just to see if there's tech and if you notice, there's always a COVID update of, oh, don't forget COVID. Don't forget there's an outbreak. Don't forget that there's this, there's that. And then this one is under this little boy that has a mask on. The other 3 quarters, in most of the world, the pandemic is still gathering pace. So it's always there to remind us, because I personally think the next thing they'll roll out is another level of the COVID thing, and that is it's constantly on the back burner, like the riots and whatever else is on the front burners. But right now, I think the second wave or whatever they want to call it, I still think it's on the back burner.
Well, when I see all these people protesting, Nano, I see, I observe things different than your average person, but with everything going on in the world, I look at a giant petri dish.
Yes.
And whatever COVID was when it went into the protests, it might not be the same when it comes out. Now, that can go both ways. I get that. It can mutate to the point where it's laughable, or it can take a deadly twist. Now, with everything that we know that's going on in the world and their determination to use this for the Great Reset, I don't think it's going to burn itself out. I'm with you. I think Wave 2 is going to be absolutely horrendous. And all the people that have been encouraged to go out onto the streets, all of the media that's programmed people to get angsty and ready to go to war, they'll be the ones blaming all of you for wave number 2. Yes, you will be to blame. It doesn't matter that the politicians all encouraged you. It doesn't matter that you were allowed to break social distancing. You are the problem. And we'll all be back to looking over the top of our face masks at each other.
Which means our school marm, Dr. Scarf, will be back giving us lectures. Yeah, no, there's already articles on that. It started today. So they've been out in the street long enough. And also I thought I saw an article about Tesla today fly by, that people that went back to work at Tesla have got COVID now too. There's a COVID breakout at Tesla. And so let's go to slide 32, because this is in connection with the Tesla thing. I find it really interesting that if you don't, go down a couple, Kev, go back to Mark Zuckerberg, one more. Yeah, right there. So if you notice, Mark Zuckerberg came out and refuse to, what's the word I want to use? He refused to go after Trump and edit any of his articles. He refused to do what Twitter did. He refused to go after him. And what's the word I'm looking for?
Is he trying to take the moral high ground here?
Right, which is pretty hilarious. But I actually kind of gave him 2 points for that, and regardless of whatever the reason is. So if you are a Tesla, or you are a Mark Zuckerbot, as I love to call him, and you go off the beaten path, they'll come after you with a tomahawk.
It's exactly the same as the woke brigade.
Yes.
The celebrities that pander to them every day and tell them what they want to hear. They're amazing. They're absolutely phenomenal. But the minute they write one wrong word, that same people that were putting them up on a pedestal, they're going to rip them to shreds and cancel them right away. They eat themselves. They really do.
They do, and they're doing that to J.R. Rowling right now.
Yeah.
And then this article on Mark Zuckerberg caught my eye. It says, Mark Zuckerberg believes only in Mark Zuckerberg, and this was in Wired magazine. Now, Wired usually talks about tech stuff, right? It doesn't usually. I don't know. I don't think it. But anyway. So let me just read a couple of these articles, a couple of these sentences. I won't read the whole thing. Like other billionaires, Zuckerberg has the money, power, and influence to take a stand against such malfeasance and malviolence. With 3 global platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, capable of structuring the culture and intellectual experience of billions around the world, Zuckerberg chooses to do the opposite. He chooses to bolster Trump and other authoritarians despite all the harm they do to the world. Let me just read this last couple sentences. Like the notorious architect Philip Johnson, Mark Zuckerberg is a social engineer. I thought that was interesting. He knows what's best for us, and he believes that what's best for Facebook is best for us. In the long run, he believes Facebook's domination will redeem him by making our lives better. We just have to surrender and let it all work out. Zuckerberg can entertain local magistrates like Trump because Zuckerberg remains emperor. The only hope we have to dispose this emperor is that his troops might rebel and refuse to do his bidding. That might be starting to happen, but it might be far too late. So some of his people at Facebook got mad at him for not pushing back harder and doing more against Trump. And that's what inspired this article. This article is way longer than what I just read. It seemed like it was about 3 pages of stuff like this. And I thought, if he had pushed back on Trump, if he had done what Twitter did, do you think this would be here? Heck no.
No.
Heck no.
No. Absolutely not, Nano.
God.
Absolutely not. And what do you make of Musk, the rumors that he may be moving out of California, going to Texas? What do you make of that?
Oh my God. So if we scroll up, we got a couple things on the Musketeer. So the Musketeer, like this week, he said, monopolies are wrong. Elon Musk declares it's time to break up Amazon. A couple of weeks after telling his followers to take the red pill, Elon Musk is throwing his support behind a former New York Times reporter whose new book about the coronavirus outbreak has just been censored by Amazon. And so Musk said, this is insane, tagging his fellow tech CEO, Jeff Bezos. Musk followed that up with a tweet declaring it's time to break up Amazon. Monopolies are wrong. I have to say, I gave him at least 10 points for that. And then he came out with a lot more articles on his SpaceX going to Mars and sticking to his very ambitious date. The mission will come in 2024, the next time when the Earth and Mars are close again. So he's going to keep moving forward with his initiative on all of this. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I just wish he'd put the neural link somewhere where nobody could use it, but that's just me. Do I think he's going to leave California? I mean, with this, so going back to, there's an outbreak at COVID. Okay. Is there really an outbreak at COVID?
Well, I'm thinking that
Again,
if there's
was that targeted?
if there's one guy that we can maybe hope will use his platform, use the massive kind of reach he has.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Even if I wasn't a fanboy of Elon, I'd be quite impressed at him using, his power. And it might sound weird, but we often talk about how celebrities, they could do so much good if they just done the right thing and tweeted out, and it would make so many millions of people look at something instantly differently. And, for him to do that, he's a maverick. He does kind of act differently from the rest of them, but it took balls a bit. I'm sure his people behind him were saying, don't bother, Elon, just leave it. Don't say anything. But he said it.
Yeah.
He got pissed at that. And I believe, I'm not too sure, but I believe the book now is back on sale. But when he was on Joe Rogan's, he was very outspoken about the virus. And I wonder, because there was a food plant in America where there was hundreds of workers tested positive.
Yeah.
Only all of them were asymptomatic and nothing came of any of it. And if that happens at Tesla, Nano, I don't know, maybe I'm just giving him the benefit, but is he going to then say, listen, there's something wrong with these tests here because there's something far fishy going on with all of my employees testing positive, but all of them are perfectly fine. And it might be one thing, me and you questioning the testing around COVID, but if somebody like Elon Musk done it, that would become a talking point, So hopefully, fingers crossed, eh?
Well, I'm not kidding when I tell you, I kind of wonder. I mean, they can target anybody with anything. They can get people. They can create heart attacks in people. Because they know how to do the frequency. They know, right? They know how to do all that. I still, it's just so convenient. Who catches this? I don't know. Call me conspiracy theorist. I'm happy to if you do that. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. Okay, this is funny, and this is for you, Kev. So if you just go, okay, so visualize a comedian robot, and I sent you the link, and I'm kind of hoping that we can play it. I think it's only a couple minutes. Okay, so basically, the creator of this robot wanted people to get closer to robots. So they wanted to see how they can get a robot to do stand-up comedian, be a stand-up comic. So how can robots get humans to like them, make them laugh? And the team behind the robot comedian is trying to make robots more likable. So
I'm going to try and play this. Yeah, let's listen to this.
All right.
Here we go. It's only a couple of minutes long. Here we go. Turn it up.
Okay.
Is there meant
and
to
this
be...
is one of those little 3-foot robots.
I'm from the Valley. Silicon Valley. You can probably tell from looking at me that I'm from the Valley. Silicon Valley.
So can you stop it for a second?
Yep.
So for you guys who can't see this, so basically what they were trying to do, they got an audience and they were trying to figure out the timing, the comedic timing. And because obviously if you're a comedian, you have to put your, like the first thing he said, the robot said was not very funny, but then when he came back for number 2, so they're teaching bad timing and appropriate timing, and then they're teaching. So the next thing you'll hear is teaching him how to do the next thing. Adaptive and non-adaptive. Okay, go ahead.
Here we go.
Don't you hate it when you're trying to solve inverse kinematics equations to pick up a cup, and then you get error 453, no solution found? Don't you hate that? Don't you hate that? I am glad you also hate that.
That's quite clever.
It is. Our robot performed to 32 comedy audiences in Los Angeles and Oregon with varied timing.
And here comes
It's
the
pretty
results.
clever.
Yeah.
This one's for all my robots out there. Ha 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 ha. So funny. You guys are great. When I told the joke to Alexa, she said,
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Why am I laughing? I shouldn't be laughing at a robot's jokes. Don't do this.
these beauty standards are impossible. I'm thinking of getting plastic surgery. Where they epoxy more plastic to my exoskeleton. You see, because I am a robot, I am made of plastic. So any modification to my exterior is plastic surgery. Thank you. You have been a great audience. If you like me, please book me and help me take your jobs.
Oh, I like that. I
Isn't that
like
cute?
that. I do like that. I do.
I know.
Geeks
That
like
one's
me
cute.
and geeks like me and you are gonna like that, Nano. People that aren't geeks are gonna look at me and you and go, "What are they even laughing at?" Hey, you see, I tell you, it's all in the way the joke's delivered, and I like the robot.
I know, I did too.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more before we go. We're short. Okay, go up to the So Bear. Okay,
So bear.
the other thing I just go up to should be number 17. Look at slide number 17. Okay, so you guys, what I did was I looked at bartenders, different kinds of bartenders. And so get this one. So this is another teddy bear who makes drinks. It's called So Bear, like sober, only So Bear. The best bartender not only serve a good drink, but gently let people know when they have had too much. So Bear lets a drunk down gently, breathe into its face, and it'll pour an appropriate drink. Potent for the sober, non-alcoholic for intoxicated. There's an alcohol sensor hidden under the fuzzy exterior, and the panda is programmed to pour only what the person needs, not what they say they need. Perfect for the end of the party.
I never thought I would see the day where we've got bartending bears that smell your breath and then they kind of customize your drink. They tailor
They
it for
put
you. I
no
like that.
alcohol
Yeah.
in your last couple of drinks.
I
I'm
reckon-
sorry, sir, you've had enough.
Yeah, I reckon that bear wouldn't last long in a Glasgow pub. I dare it to pour somebody a non-alcoholic drink down on Sauchiehall Street. That bear ain't going anywhere, Nano. No.
You know what they need is like the great big giant nasty one from, what's the name of those people that create the Navy ones that could kill everybody?
Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, use that one.
Yeah.
Yep, the Boston 90. You're not going to mess with that thing.
Have you been watching, we used to talk about TV shows a lot, Nano. Watching anything
Yeah.
good lately?
I haven't. I don't like anything.
I'm back into Westworld, the new season of Westworld.
Okay, that's on HBO, right?
Yeah, it's, I'm not going to give anything away, but if you thought it was wild before with the kind of AI theme park and the
Yeah.
sentient robots becoming very conscious, I'm not going to spoil anything. It gets even more bizarre and more technologically along our lines, Nano. In
Okay, I'm gonna
season
have to,
3, yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that one. I know I watched all of the Star Trekky things that they had. I loved all those. I got done
Like
with
Picard. Picard was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed that.
That is one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed it. I didn't like his acting to start with. He's maybe a bit older, obviously, but By the end of it, I'd totally fallen in love with Picard again. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Even in fact, his comment was, "My new crew is a little bit more psychologically needy than you guys ever were." He says to Marina or whatever her name was.
I like the new pilot. He was the guy in the program Salvation. Salvation.
Yes.
He's basically, it's a character like Elon Musk. He's planning on moving to Mars, but then there's an asteroid coming in. It's a really good program if you haven't seen it. But that actor that's
love
in that,
Salvation.
yeah, he's a really good actor. That boy, really like him.
He is. He's really good. I love the whole thing. I think that's the last best thing. I haven't, I tried to watch Upload. Upload is where the young kid dies.
I've tried it.
And he's in AI, but you can talk to him. I mean, it's the technological piece of it is clever, but it's very difficult to watch.
Yeah, the first episode, I mean, to give people an idea, you pass away, but your consciousness is ready to be inserted
uploaded
into your avatar, and there's this kind of coupling process where, to begin with, the consciousness, it's getting used to being digital for a start. It's in a like a digital realm, and like you, Nano, I thought this program would be, I'd be in there and I'd binge it in a oneer, but there was something, I don't know. I never got past one episode in it. It didn't grip me, which really kind of, it surprised me because it had all the check boxes I would like, you know?
Exactly. And there's what was the other one? The one where the guy also uploaded himself. God, what was the name of that? I think it was on Netflix. It was really, really good. The first season where you can change your body all the time.
Altered Carbon, but the second season, I can't get into it.
They changed the actor.
Yeah, that's the joy of having a sleeve. You can basically.
I know, but I like the other actor. I just did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
With you. I like the other actor as well. He's done a lot of programs. He was in something called The Killing. He was a detective. Yeah. Good actor. But I remember at the end of season 1, I was reading one of these kind of, it was telling you the shows had been renewed or not. And it was saying if you liked Altered Carbon, that's fair enough, but you need to appreciate that every season, if it runs, you're going to have this happening all the time. Because of the interchangeability of bodies. I'm out as well. I lasted one episode, man. I couldn't get into it.
I mean, but here's the thing. Okay, I know that Dark Mirror is a different episode, right, every week?
Yeah, we're living in it now.
Well, actually, yeah, every day, actually. But we're still the same actors.
Yeah.
People come back to see us.
Yeah.
You know, we're still playing the same roles. We're in the roles doing this, whatever this is going on. Now, so we still come back for the actors.
We are almost out of time, NanoGirl.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you're going to be back real soon, next couple of weeks or so.
I will.
If the schedule allows. And folks, don't go anywhere because it might be the end of the Kev Baker show, but TFR, it rolls on 24/7. So wherever you are, make it TFR and Denny, touch that dial.